All right. So I want to welcome everyone to today's conversation around how to start a career in blockchain data analytics. So I would go ahead to share um, my slides. So this session is strictly for anyone who wants to get started in blockchain data analytics. All right. Like I said, today we're looking at how to start a career in blockchain data analytics. So I would oftentimes ask if you can hear me. So to give a response, you can use the emoji on the chat like I'm doing now. If you can hear me, you give those kind of emojis. If you can't hear me, you give a thumbs down, and then I get to know, okay, you can hear me. All right. So awesome. Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna get started now. And our is centered around how to start a career in the blockchain space. Now, one interesting thing you need to understand is that this is a very strategic niche, when it comes to data analytics, right? The world is governed by data. The entire industries are governed by, and when we look at the finance sector, we heavily leverage on data in the finance sector. It guides decision making. It guides when it comes to investment decision, when it comes to hiring, when it comes to building revenue. Data becomes the go-to point. So when the blockchain technology started, data was quite scarce. All right. And a lot of persons were very much involved with blockchain technology blindly. When it comes to cryptocurrency, which is just a part of blockchain, people get to jump into it blindly without understanding what is driving the market, right? And what is driving the market is hidden in data. So by understanding how the data in the blockchain works, it gives you an edge when it comes to decision making. So myself, I'm the facilitator for today. Oluwatumishe Olaoluwa. Um, I happen to be the founder of Analytics Sage, and also I'm a quantitative risk analyst, working in the crypto space and helping to build risk score system. So yeah, so I have the opportunity to also have with me 57 of you willing to listen to me and also hear what I have to share. So now, one important thing that you also need to understand about the blockchain data analytics is it's a powerhouse, and it gives you leverage because it's a new niche, in the blockchain space. Now, one thing you need to understand when it comes to blockchain data, what is blockchain data? Now, because blockchain technology itself is built on transparency. Okay, is built on transparency. We define blockchain technology as a distributed ledger system. Okay, a distributed ledger system that is stored, in a receipt that is distributed across board. So, which means, the information is scattered around, is in the hand of different operators in the technology, so that one individual cannot make a decision to alter information in the blockchain. Now, so the blockchain technology, is a technology that makes data transparent, immutable, okay, and secured. So when information in the blockchain being when information in the blockchain is being emitted, that information is stored in what we call blocks, right? And from the word blockchain is a chain of blocks. All right. So we'll be going into more of that details much later. But let's take an understanding into what blockchain data is all about. So blockchain data is the transparent, traceable record of all on-chain activities when it comes to wallets, when it comes to transactions, when it comes to token flows, NFTs, and more. So with blockchain data, you get to you have your informations are transparent and the records are traceable. Now, it's just when someone says, "Oh, let me give you an example." So, for some of us who might not be blockchain inclined prior to now, I'm sure you must have heard of cryptocurrency or you must have heard of Bitcoin. Okay. Now, so someone, you know how people would want to boast of having certain amount of Bitcoin in their portfolio or earning certain amount of cryptocurrency, maybe in airdrops and the likes. And how would you verify it? Blockchain gives you that power to do that. So let me give you a scenario. I was scrolling through Twitter one day, and one popular influencer claimed that he had won certain amount of airdrops. So airdrops are more like what a reward that an ecosystem gives you. Like let me for those who don't have blockchain knowledge, right? Let me say there's a particular company that rewards people for, say, promoting them or telling others about them, right? Or contributing to that ecosystem to make sure that, okay, people get to know about that company, the reliability and the product of that company. And when that company now comes to stability, or when that company gets to raise funding from investors, they want to reward those who have stood by them when when they were just starting out. All right. So in blockchain space, that reward is what we call airdrops. Now, so this particular influencer claimed that he got an airdrop from a company. So if you in blockchain, we call them protocols. All right. So he claimed that he got an airdrop. Okay, that's like a reward from this protocol. And he claimed that the airdrop was around $9,000. Okay. Now, interestingly, the power of blockchain data, someone, an on-chain analyst from on Twitter now saw the post and was like, okay, let me verify this information. And with the use of SQL on blockchain data provider platforms like Dune Analytic, which I'll be showing you much later, he was able to, write some SQL language to say, okay, select all transactions, from this particular protocol. So the protocol definitely has a blockchain where it was built on and a name. So he said, okay, select all transactions from this particular protocol where amount transferred is greater than 9,000 or equal to $9,000, and the result was zero. Now, the result being zero means that nobody was actually given $9,000. And that is the power of blockchain data. I'll also give you another scenario where, some hackers hacked into a particular, project and stole some money. With blockchain data, analysts were able to track where those monies were going. For some of you who might know crypto exchanges like Binance, Bybit, KuCoin, and some other ones like that. So these hackers were trying to distribute the money through this centralized exchange, because we have what we call the decentralized exchange, okay, and the centralized exchange. There is no way you can move money or you can make withdrawal to spend within your environment, like convert. There's no way you can convert crypto to your local currency, whatever currency you spend in your country, without a centralized system. All right. Now, and these hackers were trying to distribute the money through this centralized system. So they sent money through Binance, sent money through KuCoin. With the help of on-chain data, analysts were able to track where this money was going. And a report was made to all these exchanges that, okay, see, this particular fund was sent from a scammed wallet to your exchange. You need to block it. And that is where compliance and forensic analysis comes in. So with on-chain data analysis, you can even carry out forensic analysis. You can carry out compliance. Okay, we are still going to look into career paths in blockchain data analytics. However, understanding that blockchain data is powerful, okay, and helps to create transparent, traceable record of all on-chain activity when it comes to wallets, transactions, token flows, NFTs, and more. Now, what are the key data points when it comes to blockchain data? One is transactions. Transactions is a key data point. Now, some of us who, maybe you are from Kenya, you use M-Pesa. When you make your transfer, when you check your M-Pesa app, it tells you the transaction you've made, the person to which the transaction was sent to, you yourself, the recipient of the transaction, the sender of the transaction, the time the transaction was sent, right? Those informations will be recorded in a receipt. Same thing applies on the blockchain, right? The information of every transaction are recorded. So transaction becomes a very important point, okay? A very important data point. Also wallets. Now, wallet, talking about account number, okay, or the account which wallet represents, possibly the user, sending that transaction. Okay. Now, also we have the tokens, which has to do with the currency. For those who are not yet blockchain inclined, okay, tokens are more like your currency, okay, in which you spend within your economy. All right. So understanding tokens as a data point is also very important. Then we have what we call the smart contract. Now, when we talk about smart contract, comes from the word smart, two words, smart and contract. Okay. Now, and of course, a contract is more or less like an agreement. Okay, an agreement. And when we say smart, smart has to do with something, technological related, something faster. That's why we have what we call the smartphone, because it is faster than some of the old phones that were used. Okay, we have a lot of things that we call the smart TV. So when we say, oh, a TV is a smart TV, it's more or less like either the TV is a touch screen or the TV has created more flexibility or makes something more fast. So when we talk about smart contract, we are talking about a contract that does not need human involvement, right? A smart contract is a contract that is automated, is programmed to be automated. So there is no need for a third party to come and say, oh, execute before it executes. It is called a self-executing, contract. That's why we call it the smart contract. Hope you know we have what we call the hard contract. So which means hard contract now, if you are renting an apartment, in my country, if you are renting an apartment, there's what we call agreement and commission, right? So the landlord gets to give you a form to fill, you sign it as an agreement. That is an hard contract. If you default on that contract, then what would your landlord do? They will go and look for the contract. When they get the contract, they give it to a lawyer. A lawyer files a case against you, and if the court favors you, then fine. If the court rules against you, then you would either be punished or asked to pay back one way or the other. Now you look at all those processes; those are hard contracts, because the process of a hard contract has to go through certain bureaucracy. When it comes to a smart contract, it is automated. The moment you deviate or the moment you go against, the agreement or the laid down rules, right? The smart contract knows how to kick you out or how to execute, the transaction in your favor, or how to spot a bad actor and a good actor. So smart contract being a key data point is also very important for us when it comes to blockchain data. If you are following me, drop a thumbs up like this. If you are following me, drop a thumbs up. I want to know if you are following me before I continue. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can just keep your hands up so that when it's time for question and answer, I would be able to give you the mic so that you can ask your question. Now, why blockchain analytics is a growing field? Why is it a growing field? It is a very important question. All right. Now, one, it's a growing field because the rise of Web3 ecosystem. If you've not been in Web3 before, you would not deny that you've not had somebody talk about Web3, or if you have people around you who talk about blockchain, it always rings a bell, right? So because the Web3 ecosystem keeps growing, keeps advancing. When blockchain started, there was nothing like a decentralized science where people now want to integrate research and blockchain, or people now want to integrate medical research and the blockchain, or agricultural research and the blockchain, or biomedical research and the blockchain. But in recent time, we see the ever evolving, Web3 ecosystem, where we now have more industries, more sectors wanting to see how blockchain can better improve their operations and efficiency. We also look at institutional adoption and compliance requirement. Why should you pay attention to blockchain analytics? Because it's what it is experiencing institutional adoption. Okay, look at countries like there's a country called is it El Salvador, right? That they have a Bitcoin reserve. They have a Bitcoin reserve, and their president is a firm believer in cryptocurrency. He's a firm believer in Bitcoin, right? And they have a Bitcoin reserve. And if you keep track of when they've been saving and buying and storing up Bitcoin in their reserve, and you look at what they have now, you definitely see that they've yielded so much returns on their Bitcoin that improved their economy. Same with what we see in the last US election, and even currently, that the US president has been a frontier when it comes to blockchain data. That's to tell us that when it comes to blockchain itself and the ecosystem and cryptocurrency, that's to tell us how important blockchain is. Blockchain is not an ecosystem where or an industry that you can overlook, or you should overlook, right? It's an industry that you need to get in early and position yourself. And interestingly, if you look at the statistics of people involved in blockchain currently, and the statistics of people who are not involved in blockchain, then you will know that this is the right time to get involved, because you are still early. Imagine people involved in blockchain are even less than 5% of the entire population of the world. Now imagine when the adoption of blockchain technology goes so viral that it impacts even our basic needs and life. And that is where it is going to. It's more like how the internet started, and how the internet evolved. Even now, our life completely now depends on what? On the internet. We now have remote jobs. We now have online academies. We now have online schools. We now have online meetings. We now have all people now meet online to build, people meet online to do, people learn how to cook online. All those things were not in the picture. I mean, if you are told people who live in the Stone Age, that there would be a time where people learn farming online, right? You get to learn farming online and you implement it in your local, farmland, and that is it. Tell me what anyone is not learning online currently. Everything now is now online. You can see how the internet has evolved into making our life almost depend on it. And same thing would be, the blockchain technology. Also, we look at on-chain transparency. Massive demand for analysts. Now there is a massive demand for analysts. There's a growing demand for analysts. All right. There's a growing demand for analysts because data helps in startups, organizations, and even protocols tell their story. Okay. Everybody, all protocols wants to be known for something. All protocols who are doing great wants to be known that, oh yes, we are doing great. Oh yes, we have a rising number of users. Oh yes, we are doing larger volumes of transaction. Oh yes, we are doing we have a growing adoption rate in the ecosystem. Protocols, startups, organizations are looking for who to tell their story. And who are those people who would have to tell their story? Is the on-chain data analyst. And interestingly, there are job roles for on-chain data analysis. We have on-chain data analysts, we have data scientist role, we have quantitative researchers role, we have compliance, we have forensic. Now, how blockchain powers Web3. Now, one of the ways blockchain powers Web3, one is through DeFi. Through DeFi. For those of you who are very much new to the blockchain ecosystem, because I want to believe that we have a vast majority of people who are new to the blockchain ecosystem. So I will be speaking at your level. Now, there are different sectors, okay, that are more like the powerhouse of blockchain. Number one is DeFi. Number one is DeFi. And what we mean by DeFi? DeFi is an acronym for decentralized finance. Decentralized finance. And when we come to decentralized finance, interestingly, there is really not anything new from the concept being used. Only that blockchain is being applied to finance. So we have the word decentralized finance and we have the word traditional finance. All right. Now, when we come to traditional finance, if you want to make if you want to open a bank account, you fill a form, you write your mother's maiden name, you almost write your future children's name. They will require so much document and quite a lot of stuff. In fact, when it comes to also getting loans, access to loan is also becoming very difficult. But how does DeFi come to play its role here? It came to decentralize the process, whereby if you want to apply for loan, you don't need quite a lot of documents. Okay, there are loan offerings that come as over collateralized loan, they are under collateralized loan, and some of which makes life even much more easier for you. And when it comes to trading as well, where you can trade without having to fill in for KYC or fill in for this or fill in for that, there are decentralized platforms that will enable you to do that. Then we have what we call NFT. It's called non-fungible tokens. You know that you can, if you can convert anything into an NFT. So let me give you an example of what NFTs can be used for. Someone says, an example here says sales tracking. So imagine I organize a conference, right? And I sell my ticket as an NFT in digital format. Okay, and interestingly, I don't even sell it as ticket. I will just sell the NFT, okay, as a digital identity. So if you buy into the NFT and you have that digital identity, you can come to my program. So I'm hosting a dinner program for analysts, and I say, okay, your only key to come in is if you are holding my NFT. So I have an NFT that is like $50, $100, and then people go to buy into the NFT because they believe in the NFT. And I say, oh, if you buy into this NFT, you have access to this opportunity for free. You have access to this information for free. So holders of this NFT get all this access for free. Imagine that. So imagine if you are going to, for some of you who have parents who work in structured organization, right? In quotes, structured organization, okay, where you have access to insurance. Maybe you now fall sick, and that says, okay, take my my NHS card, NHIS card or number, and go to the hospital to treat yourself. All right, because you have NHIS that covers for that. Now, imagine that NHIS now comes in form of a digital asset, where if you hold a particular if you buy into the NFT of the NHIS, you can access healthcare anywhere, right? So, and you know that accessing NHIS means that you have to work in a structured organization that has made provision for that. What if an insurance company decide to create an NFT, okay, and says, okay, if for all those who bought into the NFT, you have access to free healthcare, you have access to health insurance, right? That is how NFT works. Okay, it's different from token. Okay, NFT is tied to identity. All right, good. Now the next one is what we call the DAO. Now DAO is decentralized autonomous organization. So you can picture a DAO like a club. Some of you who are students or who have been students, you have some investment club, business club in school, okay? That's like a DAO. And when you look at the structure, maybe you have your student president, you have the vice president, you have this, you have that, and all. And everyone within the club also has a contribution, because whatsoever, if you are a member of the club, to picture that as the DAO. So in the DAO now, there is no president, there is no centralized point of authority, right? Every member of the DAO has the power, not equal, the power, okay, to influence decision, to contribute to decisions. All right. So a DAO is more or less like an organization, but with no hierarchy. The structure is decentralized. The power is in the hand of the members of the DAO, right? The strength of the DAO, the authority in the DAO is in the hand of every individual. So if we have a good number of the DAO kicking against a particular proposal, that proposal will not see the light of the day. And if we have more members of the DAO approving to a proposal, then that proposal can go ahead. It's a decentralized, organization. It's very interesting space to, to explore. And these are some of the powerhouse, of blockchain data in Web3. Now, looking at data providers, some of which are our partners and our collaborators, right? So currently we work with Dune Analytics, okay, for SQL data, and we also use CoinGecko data and Coin Paprika data likewise. Now, for some of the persons who might have be asking, okay, what is the future in this, right? I've seen a lot of persons say, okay, what is the future in this? For some of those who have been our students and have participated in our SQL on-chain data analytics training, they've come to have remarkable experience, and opportunities have been opened up to them as an on-chain data analyst that they've become, right? And some of which I'll be showing you now. Now, in our community, which is open, all right, this is like the statistics of what our students have actually benefited from. Okay, now we have over 52% of our students who have participated in paid bounties. I'm going to share you the dashboards that made these bounties possible and how much they also earn on these bounties. We have 10% who have landed full-time jobs. Of course, this 52% also are amongst the freelance projects, gigs, and bounties, and some of which are now contributors to ecosystem, ambassadors to blockchain protocol. But I'm still going to share more on details of how much some of them have actually earned as an on-chain data analyst. Now, what are the career opportunity in on-chain data analysis? If you look at it, we have blockchain data analyst role, we have on-chain researcher role, we have compliance analyst role, we have the forensic analyst role, we have the quantitative analyst role. Now, which companies are hiring? Startups in the crypto space are hiring. Exchanges are hiring. For some persons who are in regions that are also fast growing, if you are joining from like Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, we have fast growing startups in that place as well. And we also have organizations who are also looking to hire from within Africa and beyond. Then we have analytic platforms, NFT platforms looking to hire. Then one interesting one is freelance and gigs. Freelance and gigs, right? This is quite rampant. So this happens when most of our students, we encourage them to always build in public, right? So they create dashboards and put it out there on LinkedIn, on X, and they land these gigs. They land these bounties and get those opportunities. So here are some of our student testimonials. We have George, Ikechukwu here, who joined our Core 3 program. He said, Analytics Sage kickstarted my journey into blockchain analytics. From learning on-chain analysis to becoming an Aptos ambassador, the skills and community here have truly shaped my career. Here we have Tobechi, who joined our first training program. Tobechi is currently a part-time data consultant with Yidfa. He said, being part of Analytics Sage has been an impactful experience so far, and I've learned to understand blockchain architecture, contract interaction, and most importantly, on-chain analytics. From my initial class in the first cohort to the subsequent classes and workshops. Now, one thing about Tobechi is that Tobechi has created and quite a lot when it comes to bounty. The last one of the last one he earned currently, on-chain data analyst, was $5,000. If you earn $5,000 for building dashboard, tell me how many dashboards will you continue to build, right? So Tobechi earned over $5,000, $2,000, $3,000 building dashboards for protocols, all right? And many more, and many more. Now, we also have Ola Dimeji Mustafa, who also joined in Cohort 1 and says, learning Web3 analytics at Analytics Sage has been a game changer. The skill I learned and the incredible support I received not only accelerated my crypto journey, but also brought real and tangible improvement to my life. I've achieved things I've never imagined possible in a short while. And I know this very well. Olamide also had the opportunity to work with an organization called Flipside Crypto, where it contributes to ecosystems within the Aptos ecosystem. Same with Chineye Blessing. Chineye Blessing joined us while she was from Moscow, which is the capital of Russia. She joined our cohort 4. Now, she said, since the conclusion of my training with Analytics Sage, I have been able to secure internship as a finance on-chain analyst in a startup company. Right. One interesting story about Chinyere, who currently resides in Russia, is that towards the end of the cohort 4 training, I had a session with them and I told them to build in public and also apply to either internships, as an on-chain data analyst. And she gave it a shot, and just a single shot, she landed an internship as a finance on-chain analyst. And this is how, this is where she has been working all the while. Now we have Ogeva Divine, who also joined us in cohort 1. She said, I currently work at Second Mountain as a research analyst. Being an active analyst at Analytics Sage was where I got the opportunity and landed the job. One interesting thing about Divine story is that, an organization, a startup, reached out to us that they are in need of an on-chain analyst, and then we sent them 4 of our analysts, send them their resume, send them their portfolio, and Divine was one of those who have been hired and currently working there. And interestingly, she earns 5 times her previous salary in her current place, in her previous place of work. And that's Divine's testimony. Here is Bashir, who joined us in our cohort 4 and says, along with my skills learned, Analytics Sage has been instrumental in elevating my analytics skill, particularly in the domain of on-chain analysis. I've seen Bashir likewise has gone further to contribute to several ecosystems as an on-chain data analyst. There is Onyo Basi, who said, I work with data, particularly as data analyst, and my career in it started out due to the love I have for data. At first, I never knew that, there was an existing career path within the Web3 space that allowed analysts to thrive. But I came across Analytics Sage. And here is Tolu says, joining Analytics Sage was a game changer for me. I went from curious observer to confident analyst, working with real data, real blockchain data, and gaining skills that has opened doors. Now, these are several testimonies from our previous students, and these are just part of the ones that we can share. We've had several ones where, some of which have gotten full-time jobs, some of which have gotten jobs by our own recommendation. I remember the last time a company reached out to us that they needed a crypto research engineer, and we referred our past student to them, and they hired one of them, and this has been the testimony within Analytics Sage community. Now let's look at sample dashboards that our analysts have built. Now this dashboard here is one of the dashboard that was built by Tobesi, right? And this dashboard, Tobesi is the guy I shared earlier, and this dashboard was the dashboard that qualified him for the bounty of $2,000, right? $2,000, and this was what we teach and train them, to build professional, competitive dashboards in the ecosystem. And this is an example of the dashboards we are talking about, creating insight and telling stories through data. This is how this is the dashboards that you will be building as an on-chain analyst to solve problems within the blockchain space, and also to tell stories about the blockchain space. If you are following, let me know. You can just drop an emoji. If you love what you are hearing, you can just drop an emoji. Thank you. Awesome. And let me share with you one of our analysts who also jumped on a bounty, created a dashboard. This was a dashboard The bounty around this dashboard was $200, and it came out second in the competition and won $200 for creating.
$200 for creating.
Yeah, so let's mute
Yeah,
the mic.
so let's mute the mic.
Okay, so he earned $200 for creating this dashboard. Like if you live in Nigeria and you earn $200 like for creating a dashboard, right? Just one dashboard. So imagine how much you would earn if you are able to create, 5 dashboards and win bounties, right? And look at Tobesi likewise, who, created one dashboard and won $2,000. When you convert $2,000 to Kenyan shilling or Rwandan currency or Nigerian currency, you are able to see the difference. All right. And this is how, on-chain data analysts get to make some money and build a career. Now, let's do a live demo, right? Starting by analyzing blockchain data. So I want to show you a live demo of how we analyze blockchain data. So this is the platform we use. The platform is called Dune Analytics, and I will be, showing us a sample demo of how we analyze blockchain data. If you have a prior knowledge of SQL, great. If you don't have a prior knowledge of SQL, great. Also, just follow my step, listen to what I'm saying, and you will have a grasp of it. Now, when you are writing SQL, your SQL is more or less like speaking English. That's how I love to say it, right? SQL is more or less like you are speaking English. And there are 5 syntax you need to follow. Okay? 5 syntax you need to follow. The select statement, the from statement, the where statement, the group by, and the order by. So we're going to follow these 5 steps and create our first query and chart. All right. So we're going to go select. I want to select all. And in SQL, if you want to select all means asterisk. Okay. My screen might be tiny, so let me just expand this a bit. Okay. Now I want to select all. So I use asterisk. Now I said select all, then I go from, don't forget, we have 5 syntax that we must follow. Okay. From now, I want to select, so there's a table called Dex Trade. So I want to follow, I want to select from this table Dex Trades. Okay. Now, if I run this trade, if I run this query now, I'm simply telling, the engine to pull all the existing data on every DEXs for me, which might end up crashing my system. However, I would just say, give me limited rows, right? So I will say, limit the rows to 100 rows, all right? So let's run it to see what our table contains. So because you also want to understand what does your table contain. So let me take this down. Okay. So we are running it now to see what our table contains. Now here we can see what our table contains. Our table contains the blockchain, which is the type of blockchain, the project, several projects are built on this blockchain. So you decide, then the version, some projects started with version 1, some are now in version 2, some are now in version 3. Then we have what we call the block month, block date, and block time. So these block month, block date, and block time are your time. Okay. However, for block time, it talks about the timestamp. Block date talks about the date. Block month talks about the month. All right. Now we have block number, we have token bought symbol, we have token sold symbol, we have token pair, which has to do with, okay, what pair of currency or token was traded. Okay. We have token bought amount. So when we go further, we have amount in USD, etc. So we want to just select the block. So if you want to select each column now, we want to select, okay, before we select a particular column, all right, let's filter down by blockchain and projects. So assuming that we want to work with just a specific blockchain, okay, we will need to filter further by the where statement. So we use where blockchain is equal to Ethereum. Okay? Where blockchain is equal to Ethereum. So let's run this and see if it will give us where blockchain is equal to Ethereum. Okay, good. So you see that we've now been able to filter down our blockchain to strictly Ethereum. Are you following, guys? Are you following? Good. Now that we've been able to streamline it down to strictly Ethereum, let's now go further to say, okay, we want to be project specific. We want to be what? Project specific. By project specific, I mean we want to now look deeper into, okay, okay, you are not able to see my screen. Okay, I don't know. Let me expand it again. Okay. So we now want to go deeper into, okay, now we want specific projects because we want to work with specific projects. So we go for that to say, and so when you have already used the where statement, you need to use, you cannot filter again by where. It's going to throw an error. But if you now say and what? You now say and project, which is this column here, okay, is equal to Uniswap. So we want to look at the Uniswap project. Now let's run it. So you can see now that our blockchain is now Ethereum, our project is now Uniswap. However, Uniswap has 4 versions: version 1, version 2, version 3, and version 4. And we are interested in what? In version 4. So we now go further again and say, and version is equal to 4. So we want to look at, or let's say we are looking at the 3. You can decide which one you want to look at, okay? So we want to filter down further to version 3. So let's run this now. Now we now have Uniswap version 3 on blockchain, on Ethereum as a blockchain. Okay, good. Now that we have a well-filtered data down to Uniswap v3, we now want to select specific columns. So let's say 1, we want to select block date because we need the dates. We need to track by date. We say we are getting block date, and we want to now say count. We want to look at how many number of transactions has gone on, okay, or is going on Ethereum, Uniswap v3 on Ethereum. So I will now say count all as. So as is what we call alias, okay? Alias is more or less like I'm assigning it to another name. So as transaction count, okay? Transaction count. Now I've selected. Let me make it neater so that you guys can see it more clearly. So select block date, count all as transaction count from dex.trades where blockchain equals Ethereum and project equals Uniswap and version equals 3, then limit this. If I run this, it's going to throw an error. Why? Because I used count here, which is an aggregate. Then I have to use group by. I have to group by date, which is block date. All right. Now, if I group by block date and I run this now, it would work. Good. So you now see now that we now have our date and our what? Transaction count. Now this is telling us the total number of transactions that was carried out in each of these days. If you look at this now, the day is scattered. This one is 2023, this one is 2024. However, we need the day to be ordered. So we want to order it. We use it by what? Order by. Don't forget the 5 major syntax we must follow. What are we ordering by? We are ordering by what? Block dates. So if we are ordering by block date, we say block date are okay. No, yeah. So we now say, do we want to order it in a descending order or want to order it in an ascending order? So we say we want to order it in a descending order. So when we say we are ordering it in a descending order, when we run it now, you will see the difference. Now you can see now that it's even giving us a result from today itself. Today is 26. You can see it. So today, so far so good, 993,560 transactions have been carried out on Ethereum V3 on Uniswap. I'm sorry, on Uniswap V3 on Ethereum. You can see how data now gives us insight. Now, here is where we are going to round up this demo. I'm now going to create a graph for this. You can see now this is becoming more interesting because now you can see more clearly what the transaction has been over time, how the market has been moving. For an investor, this is an important data point. For a protocol, this is an important data point. For anyone wanting to use, wanting to build on Uniswap or use Uniswap technology, this is an important data point that tells you that, okay, V3 seems to have more transaction volume. Oh, V4 seems to have more transaction count, that kind of stuff. Okay, and this is where we're going to end our demo on how to query on-chain data. So quickly, we have an upcoming session. Now, this training is a 1-month training. Now, this 1-month training would prepare you to become an on-chain data analyst using SQL. I must tell you that those who have gone through our training, except for unserious people, because personally, I don't like unserious people. There is a model we follow in our training. Now, you see this training here is a training to mold you to become a blockchain data analyst. All right. Now, when you go through this training, okay, if you attend your classes, if you do your assignment and your taxes, okay, you would qualify for a 1-month mentorship session. That mentorship session would take you far deeper, hold you by the hands. The mentors are there, they will answer all your questions. The mentorship session is distinct from the training because what I discovered is this. People pay for the training, right? And they are only agitated towards certificates. We don't give certificates if you don't show us that you are good enough. That is to say, if you see anybody with analytics age certificates, you definitely know that that person paid the price for it. We don't distribute certificates like tissue paper or say, oh, certificate of attendance. No, even certificate of attendance, we must have been able to hit our head or hit our chest and say this one is certified. So we are not looking for unserious people. We are looking for people that can drive results. Okay, so this training is a paid training, and it is just $15 now, and that is pegged at 25,000 naira. Let me tell you something. This training is a steal. All right, is a steal. Okay, by next year, this training is becoming $30, which will be pegged at 50,000 naira. So, and this is the last cohort for this year. Just 25,000 naira. You get to go through the training. The 25,000 naira gives you access to only the training, not the certificate, not the mentorship session. What gives you access to the mentorship session, okay, is your diligence, which is attendance to class, building in public, submitting your tax. When you do these two, you qualify for the mentorship session. The mentorship session is 1 month. When you join the mentorship session, you undergo 1 month mentorship. Now, that mentorship session now gives you opportunity. It doesn't give you the certificate. It gives you the opportunity to get the certificate. And to get the certificate, 1, attendance to your mentorship sessions. 2, submission of your capstone project. Okay? 3, attestation from your mentor. So your mentor must be able to say, no, this person qualifies for the certificate. So you can see that the training is 25,000 naira. It doesn't give you access to the certificate. Neither does it give you access to the mentorship. The mentorship is an add-on. It's an icing on the cake for only the serious people. And the moment you scale through, let me share the roadmap with you. So here is the roadmap. I think this will be better. Here is the roadmap. So our certificate is Certified Blockchain Data Analyst, SQL specialization. Now, you start, step 1 is the training phase, which is the one you are paying for. Every other thing here, you are not paying for it. The training is only what you are paying for. Now, what qualifies you to the mentorship session here is 1, your capstone project. You do 1 major capstone project with real-world application. Then we'll carry out a qualification check, 80% attendance, 100% tax submission. Now, these are the terms and conditions for your mentorship. Now, mentorship is free. You join the mentorship session, is 4 weeks, 1 month. You will build 2 dashboards, which is 1 dashboard in 2 weeks, 1 dashboard in 2 weeks. After you qualify and you finish the mentorship session, now to qualify for the certificate, the final requirement is this: 80% attendance, 100% project submission. When you qualify for this, then you can get your certificate, and we ourselves, we would be super proud of you. So you can see that this training is not designed for you to, say, oh, I'm paying and then I will just get certificate. No, it's for you to become and be armed with the necessary skills so that when you have our certificate, it genuinely shows that you know what you are doing. And you see the sacrifice, the roadmap that you would have to follow to land our certificate. And aside from that, with this knowledge alone, moving through this circle, you will become a guru already. You will become a guru already when it comes to on-chain data analytics. Okay, and at this point, let's get back. So don't forget, this brings us back to this training. Okay, let me take us back to this. Now you look at your curriculum. This is on our website. You are taught introduction to blockchain data analytics, and these are the details of what you would be taught. Okay, that the details of what you would be taught in the training, and it is just 25,000 naira, $15. So you can either pay in naira if you have access to naira within Nigeria, or you pay in cryptocurrency. And we have several wallets on the platform where you can make payments into. Okay, now tomorrow we are having another free session, and this time you'll be hearing directly from our analysts. 3 of our analysts will be coming to speak to you tomorrow, same time tomorrow. Okay, so I'll be ending the session here and giving us opportunity to ask questions. So if you have any question, kindly put your hand up. If you have any question, kindly put your hand up, and then you'll be allowed to speak. Okay, I'm seeing, how many hands am I seeing up? Okay, yes. So Olorun Femi, please go ahead. You can unmute your mic, Olorun Femi.
For the insight and for the section, it has been an insightful section. Yeah, my question is, currently I'm a data analyst, and so my question is, as a blockchain analyst or as an on-chain analyst, is this SQL enough to be a certified blockchain data analyst? So that's my concern. I don't know, maybe there's any other tools being used in the blockchain space that are used for analytics that it's very, very important. So I just want to ask, is SQL enough to qualify one to be a blockchain analyst? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Yeah, so absolutely. SQL is enough to qualify you as a blockchain data data analyst, right? And this enables you in the area of research. Either you are doing market research, or you are doing protocol research, or any kind of research that you are doing. Okay, SQL enables you to do that. And if you say, oh, visualization, Geoanalytics has already solved that problem of visualization. You can already see how I queried on the same platform, I visualized on the same platform. So with the knowledge of on-chain data analytics with SQL, it qualifies you as an on-chain data analyst. Mind you, the knowledge of SQL is not what qualifies you as an on-chain data analyst. What qualifies you as an on-chain data analyst is also the knowledge of blockchain data itself. Blockchain and the knowledge of blockchain data is different from the knowledge of data analytics outside the blockchain space. Because as an on-chain analyst, you need to understand how blockchain data works, how the concepts, within the protocol. Because the way our program is being structured, we are not just going to be teaching you analytics all. You are also going to learn concepts, terminologies, because it's this terminology that is going to help your thinking process when building insight on the blockchain. Because the way blockchain data are emitted are quite different. I don't know if that question is answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you. One more question to round it up is now after the training, I don't know if the organization, the firm, has a platform for, let me say, will I say internship? So aside the mentorship, maybe internship just to maybe you recommend to organization that needs such services? Or do you have a platform whereby you do like a talent pool and you recommend your students for organizations? Thank you.
Fantastic. And that is exactly what we've been doing. Okay. And currently we are making that provision even within the organization. We are making that provision to create room for our analysts to join internship programs, fellowships that further strengthens them, expose them to working on real world projects, right? So that they can also build their portfolio to further apply, for other gigs. I don't know if that's clear. And based on our history, like I shared with you, we have startups that reach out to us to hire from us. Okay. Andrew. Andy. Yeah, Andy. You can unmute your mic and ask your question. Yeah, Andy, please ask your question. I can't hear you. I can't hear you guys.
Yeah, I think nobody is speaking at the moment, sir.
Oh, okay. So who else has their hand up? Salim Ibrahim. Salim Ibrahim.
There is no point
Why are you guys not talking? Ibrahim, what do you say?
in me asking the question now.
Okay, you can just lower your hand. Thank you.
Then secondly, I'm supposed to pay for the training, 4 weeks for the, what do we call it, SQL, then 4 weeks for the mentorship, 4 weeks into before I get the certification and everything.
Yeah, so like I said, getting the certification is on. Let me share my screen again. Getting the certification is not based on you registering for the training. Okay, it's based on your seriousness through the journey. So I shared a roadmap. Okay, when you register for the training, what you paid for is the training. Every other thing that you see here is the icing on the cake. What you paid for is the training. So if you are able to, you can see here the training duration is 4 weeks. You have 4 tasks because you'll be given tasks for each of those weeks. So you have 4 submissions to make. After which you have 1 capstone project that you're going to do at the end of the 4 weeks. Then there will be a qualification check. So we'll check how many have you been present in class, 80% attendance, 100% submission. So it means you are submitting all your 4 taxes. Okay. After which this will qualify you for the mentorship session. The mentorship program is 4 weeks. During the mentorship program, you would build 2 dashboards. After your mentorship program, we'll do a final assessment. 80% attendance, 100% project submission. This is what will qualify you for the certification. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yeah, for those asking, you don't need to have any prior knowledge. Okay, it's clear. Thank you very much. You can put down your hand. For those asking, you don't need to have any prior knowledge of SQL. We are going to break it down from A, B, C. Okay? Majority of our students don't have prior knowledge. Okay, they don't have prior knowledge. Okay, so Richard of Orufa, you can ask your question. Richard, you can ask your question.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Can you hear me? Okay,
I,
I would like to know this specification because specification for the system. I think we have to use system now. So I would like to know the specification that we want to go smoothly. Because the question I wanted
yes,
to ask the
so
first person asked this question.
yeah, so we encourage you to use a PC. All right. So there is no specification as to what PC. So the platform we are using is not like you're not downloading it into your system, right? You are building directly on the platform. So you won't need so much of memory or RAM. But of course, having a good laptop is fine. But whatever you have, if it's called laptop and it's on, okay, you can type, you can look, you can browse on your Chrome, okay, it's also very much valid and useful. Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome. You can lower your hand. Tijani.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sorry, based on what the other person asked now, what about those that we don't have a system? Can't we use our phone?
Definitely, you can use your phone, right? So you can use your phone to get started, okay? But I would always encourage you because I know that, you know, maybe your laptop is spoiled or one or two situations around it. You can use your phone to get started. However, I would encourage you if you have someone that has a laptop, either your friend, your brother, your family, or whatsoever, or you have a location, maybe as a student, you can always go to your computer lab. You have access to your computer lab or what you can always learn with your phone, okay? But try and get a system and do your taxes assignments so that you can get used to it. You know, because when you are using your phone, okay, it you would you would build a dashboard with your phone. I have a student who he started out using his phone and later bought a laptop. Do you understand? So, but I'm just talking
Okay.
about the flexibility. The flexibility of using your phone might not be there as using your laptop, but of course you have to start from
Okay.
somewhere. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Mofi. Mofi, your hand is up. Okay, Andy.
Okay, so good evening, and thank you for the insightful introduction. So, though I was logged out by network, so I wanted to know how often are the trainings? I understand it is for 4 weeks, but in those 4 weeks, how often are the trainings? Thank you.
Okay, good question. So for the trainings now, within the 4 weeks, we have 4 days. Okay, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right. So Monday, Tuesday can be for training, okay, SQL training. All right. Then Wednesdays would be for understanding blockchain concepts. Okay. And then Friday would be for dashboard teardown. So you will be having a session where your tutor would be explaining and breaking down how dashboards are created, SQL syntax, and all those things. Yes, for convenience sake, we have our trainings around 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. West African time. So if you are in Uganda or Kenya, that might be around 9 p.m. So it's much convenient. So if you are a working class, if you are working, you would have returned from work and able to join the session. If you are a student, you must have returned and be able to join the session. All right. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much. It's clear.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, who else has an up? Richard, your hand is up again.
Yes, 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 yes. This question generated something. Generated another question from me.
Yeah.
Like this. Okay, my own part here is the time for the class. That's the time I'll be
Okay.
very, very busy. Like right now, I'm still busy, but I'm just paying attention to it. I hope there'll be recorded version of each classes.
Yes. So the sessions are recorded. Okay. The sessions are recorded. There are times you say, okay, you might be busy, but at the end of the day, you discover that you have time, and then there are days whereby you are able to join the live session, and there are days whereby you catch up with the recording, and of course you can always ask questions on the group, and have catch ups. Yeah.
Okay, better, better. Because based on my work, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, Mofe, your hand is up. Your hand has been up. Okay, so I've also opened the chat in the group, so you can drop your message also on the chat. All right, I don't think Mofi wants to ask any question. Is there any question in the chat box? If you have any question, please do well to ask. This is the best time for me to answer, and then we get started. I'm sure you have the link to register for the session. Okay, one of our admin would share the registration link with us. One of our admin will share the registration link with us so that we can register for the program. Okay. Any question before we someone is asking what is the duration of the course and the fee on the chat. So I already said the duration of the course is 4 weeks and the fee is 25,000 naira or $15, which you can pay in cryptocurrency. Okay. So one of the tutors will drop the details now on the group. Okay, so let me just stop the recording while I attend to our questions. Let me stop the recording while I attend to our questions or call it a day.